Town of LaPointe Regular Planning and Zoning Town Plan Commission, 4:30 PM, December 3rd, 2025. Call to order, roll call.
Charles Brummer.
Amy Baxter.
Jim Peters.
Ron Sarchuk.
Paul Wilhelm. Public comment, less than 1 minute. I'd like to welcome Amy Baxter to the Town Plan Commission.
Here.
Welcome, Amy.
Welcome.
Any public comment online? Zoning Administrator report, verbal and written.
Okay. Your inbox, you should have all received a monthly update. I won't go into too many details, but I will open it up to questions. So in summary, during the month, the zoning department completed all of the 2025 related permit information and provided that to the town assessor. We actually completed that 6 days ahead of the due date. We started an in-depth review of the public comments received on the zoning ordinance rewrite, and we're starting to further refine the potential mixed use zone and the quantity of campers located on a lot. We'll talk about when we get to that process. Thanks to Jim and to Paul, we're about a third of the way through the document. I had initial discussions with 5 of the property owners for which zoning type complaints have been received, and conducted 1 additional site visit of 1 of those properties. Also conducted 7 site visits in support of the permit request, issued 7 land use permits during the month, prepared data packages for TPC review today. And then we continued to prepare for the Town of LaPointe zoning open house lessons learned meeting, which will be in this room starting at 12:30 on December 10th. The town's building inspector and Ashland County zoning representative will both be in attendance here with us to answer any questions that contractors may have. Invitations were emailed to 43 contractors, both on the island and off the island. And it will be live streamed on YouTube and recorded as well. So, we're looking to get feedback on what they think went well in 2025, and probably more importantly, what things didn't go well that we can work with them and improve for 2026. The following, 2 or 3 pages or so kind of go into more detail on those accomplishments, but we got a lot done in November.
You sure did.
Thanks, Rich. Anybody have any questions?
Very comprehensive.
Just want to say it's good that you have that disclaimer at the bottom of that agenda for next Wednesday's meeting, just in case where 3 of us show up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Approval of the previous meeting minutes, regular TPC meeting, November 5th, 2025.
I didn't find anything wrong. Find a mistake, Jim?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular TPC meeting November 5th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Old business, review, discuss, and possibly approve land use permit applications. The first one, 428 Deerwoods Lane.
Yeah, so in your data package, there's just a short 2-page summary. And this is to extend the private road. And on the exhibit is shown in yellow, the extension. Now, the question that I have is there is a home that is on lot 3 that is not owned by the property owner that owns lots 7, 8, 9, and 10. But on setbacks and determining what the front of lot 3 is the front of lot 3 where the existing road is that runs north and south, or with this extension, is the front of the lot then ordering that roadway extension. And the reason I bring it up is on the very back, there's an aerial photo that shows the house. And the house is roughly 35 feet from where that road will be constructed. And the access currently today is from where that new road will be, not from Deerwoods Lane.
Is this whole road gonna be Deerwood Lane though? or-
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so to an extent, it's almost as if lot 3 becomes a corner lot
Yes. Yes.
in relationship to the road.
Now, lot 3 is zoned R1. And the front setback is 40. And the sides are 30. So before someone invests money to put in that private road on their property, which they can do, I'm trying to look ahead to, does that create any issues with that property owner where his house is 35 feet?
That's lot 7 through 10, that must be 5 acre, W2.
And that is W2, correct?
But he already enters the property from a non-existent road?
Yeah.
Like a logging road or something?
Yes.
That's how he
Yeah.
gets in?
It's just unimproved.
Right, okay.
Right.
So I
So that
think
kind of makes it the front.
Yeah, if it's a corner lot, I guess the argument could be made that he could access it either from the north or the west,
Correct.
claiming it being his front.
My understanding is that years ago, there was an access point from the west side.
Yeah, if that was the only road, I would say that's your front because you're accessing it off that, but if he's accessing it off the rear, that could also be argued that that's his front.
Right, which you can actually see where the trees kind of
Yep.
cleared on the
Yeah,
back.
I can see.
Well, whether it's the front or the side, because of where the house is and the, you know, it's gonna be okay setback wise, whether it's, whether the front is, you know, the old section of the road, the more improved section, or if the front is from the unimproved section.
Well, then it's missing
Well,
5 feet of setback.
Correct.
It's missing?
Missing 5 feet of setback if we make that the front of the property.
Yeah, but the house is still 35 feet away on a 30-foot setback.
No, it's
No,
40,
40.
40.
Oh.
If that's the front, it has to be
Okay.
40, that's
Yeah,
the problem.
40 from
Yeah,
front, yeah.
I would think that when this house was built and recorded, that if that was his frontage, it would stay the frontage. That would
Right.
make the change. It's because somebody put in another road somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I brought this up was because this is one where obviously the property owner investing in an additional private road. I'm trying to prevent from a claim being made against the town.
If you're saying the west is the front, then that clears up. If
It
this was
does.
made the front, that would
Yes.
create issues. Yeah, I would
Correct.
say this road was in first,
yeah.
and that's
Okay.
the determination I'd make. That's his.
And I'm fine with that.
Because that house is obviously in there before this road extension.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
even if they were coming around and using it as a cow path for entrance, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that if we're all in agreement.
Consent. Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
Okay, second one on the list is 1197 Big Bay Road, Mary Smith primary dwelling. So this is one that I haven't asked people before to consider a conditional approval for this. And let me go through why I'm asking for that. The date that it was submitted was back on November 24th. Materials for the Point and for Ashland County. An existing structure on that property had to be torn down, and recently that was completed. A sanitary permit was started November 24th with Ashland County. I reached out to them that date to give them a heads up that there's going to be kind of a quick turn here. So it is being worked, as well as the UDC permit. Town inspector is working with the property owner, and the contractor has the plans. We have the plan. There's no wetlands there. Due to the weather, due to tearing down the house took longer than expected. I was notified yesterday, shortly before 4, that they weren't going to be ready me to come out and do the measurements for the setback. Today was a good day on site, and they were able to get to the point where they were able to put in stakes. I was notified at 3 o'clock this afternoon that the staking of the boundaries of the proposed project had been completed. That was 90 minutes before this meeting started. I didn't feel that there was enough time out there to do the necessary review. I have coordinated with them. They show on page 3, setbacks, but that was setbacks from the water, not setbacks from the right of way.
Is that a 75?
Yes. Yeah. I sent an email yesterday reminding them that the setbacks are from the end of the right of way, 60 feet from the end of the right of way, 93, 95 feet from the center line of the road. I believe they've staked it out. I've not gone out there yet. I can in the next day or two. We're still waiting on the sanitary permit. But everything else is in place. It's just the setbacks need to be measured and confirmed at least 95 feet from the center line of the road, and then 40 feet from the rear, which is not an issue because that's a very deep lot, and then 50 feet from each of the sides, whereas it currently shows 75. So the only thing that's missing in this data package, they just ran out of time. Is the setbacks. Everything else is in process, in place. And with our next meeting, not until January 7th, unless there were a special TPC, and we're only missing this one component. That's where, and I understand that it's not my decision, but that's where I'm recommending a conditional approval, so that what would happen is I would go out there the next 2 days, confirm the setbacks. And then as soon as I get indication from Ashland County that the sanitary permit has been issued, issue the land use permits, and then Steve would be able to issue the UDC permit.
Looks like there's,
To approve the land use permit for 1197 Big Bay Road on the condition that the zoning administrator visits the site and make sure the setbacks are in compliance and the sanitary permit is approved.
Second.
Discussion?
looks like they can move the stakes back if it doesn't make the setbacks.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I see it very low risk.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nobody? Motion carries.
Okay, the third one is 3469 Big Bay Road. And this is really just an extension. This project was originally permitted February of 2022. And it was extended in December of 2023. So actually 2 months early, it was extended. And the extension that the town issued was actually for 2 years, and it's normally for 1 year. So there was an error made at that point, but the property owner came in and met with me last week. And what you see on page 2, starting with the paragraph, property owner provided me with the following. I asked him for some details on why he was requesting another extension, because this is something that's been going on now for a while. So these are his words, not mine. It gave us about 3 paragraphs of what has been completed and some of the reasons why it has been delayed, as well as indicating that his current goal, he's on track to complete the project by summer of 2026, and most certainly by December 19th of 20. There's a lot of work that's been done. Visually, it's hard to tell as much work has been done there as has been. He has indicated that framed up by this December 19th. I coordinated with Ashland County, and they're okay with the extension, the 1-year extension. So what I'm proposing here is, I went out and visited the site, and he's making progress. It's just not as far along as we wished. And that's why I had him submit to me why the reasoning, the delays, and I thought he did a pretty good job of that.
See, there's a shipping container out on that property. Did he get a permit for that?
That's a good question. I have this file. I could look into that.
Because I've seen a lot of shipping containers showing up lately, and I think they're no different than a storage building. You need to be permitting for those.
Okay.
At least that's my reading of ordinance. They have a fixed location on the ground. They're not on wheels. They're not moving. So I would definitely look into that. We also had people from the general public ask me about this, if it meets setbacks, and I said, well, it was permitted long before I got back on zoning, so it's got to be tight. I know it's S2 out there, but hopeful that Ashland County did the proper measurement from the ordinary high water mark. But even from County Highway H, it looks, I know it's 20 feet, but it looks really close.
Rich measured, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, so I didn't take a wheel from the ordinary high water mark. I mean, there's sand and there is some vegetation, and to get an accurate reading would have been challenging. I walked it off. I went out on the pier, and I was like, okay, this is about where the high water, and I did the 3-foot step increments.
Well, it's challenging because it's such a steep slope there.
It is.
I actually don't think it meets the lake setbacks, but it doesn't matter. The permit was issued.
Well,
and we're issuing it.
I realize that, but it's just is another reason why I think we're looking at this as a group.
Right.
And it meets the 20 feet from the
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
It's got to be 21.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty close. And
All right.
actually, on the drawing, and it's difficult to see, I should have printed it out bigger. I have to take my glasses off to look at it.
Yeah, they really shoehorn that in with.
It is. It is. I mean, there's an exhibit, and maybe this isn't the one that I have, but I have one that shows the building envelope.
Mhm.
And it is shoehorned into that building.
Well, then my only question is that shipping container.
Okay, and that is something I can go through. He has a rather thick file. I can go through that.
Were shipping containers okay if they're just there for tools and supplies? And then they disappear after construction, or,
Well, I mean,
but sometimes they do loiter after the construction.
they stick around for a long time. I would, maybe it's one thing that says, rent me, or if he gets some sort of a written, it's only there for construction, then it'll be removed, something, that's tied to it. And if it's still there in 5 years, well,
Right.
and the house is completed, it needs to be permitted.
Yeah, because a lot of times they do drop those off when people are moving and they're there for a couple months.
Well, like pods,
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's
Right,
one
right.
thing. And if that's the case, fine. But I think at the very least, Rich should get some sort of a statement from the property owner saying, oh, no, this is only for construction and temporary. Okay, well, maybe that's one thing to take into consideration.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know about you guys, but I've seen
that
them
was
popping
my,
up a lot.
that
They
was
don't
my
go anywhere.
question.
Okay.
And then I got another question too. Extensions, I thought that fell under the parameters of something that you could just issue without bringing it to the TPC.
Yes, and the reason I did on
But
this
because of
was-
the complexity of this particular
Correct.
case. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, this is one that has been going on longer than it was.
Already had an extension.
Yes.
So this is and according to the permit form, it says.
One extension. Yeah.
So
Right. And that's why I.
What do we do,
The
Charlie?
owner.
Well, I remember back in the 80s, somebody started building their house and they kept getting a 2-year extension after extension. I think it's, the house is still not done and they had like 10 extensions and after a while, I think everyone just said, oh, well. But that was before, maybe, but that was before UDC, so
Right.
it's a different ballgame now, Jim. So I would, but in those days, it was a 2-year extension. You're saying it's a 1-year extension?
It's 1 year now. It's 1 year now, and it was accidentally issued as a 2-year originally.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I brought it, because there's some complexities here, but normally, yes,
So
I
does,
would, or
does
normally,
the ordinance say 1 year? Because sometimes
No, there's nothing in the ordinance.
There isn't.
It would be on the application.
it's,
It's not an
well,
application.
and it's on the actual permit.
I was like 2 years myself, but maybe that's something.
Yeah, I do too, Charlie. I'm wondering if, whatever we decide on this is one matter, but I think we ought to look in the future as to, do we want to extend it to have a 2-year extension?
Mhm.
So that this, I mean, a
Well,
1 year.
I mean, I think a 1-year extension's okay if we could offer more than, yes.
Well, that's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look at
Yeah.
those 2 items, but
We'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay,
in the meantime, I'll make a motion to approve the extension for 3469 Big Bay Road. Second. As a 1-year extension.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2661 Big Bay Road.
yeah, okay, so the last one is a property owner reached out to me about further reconfiguring their lots. So property owner here, right now, the 2 lots that they have are next to each other, but they both run north and south. At the bottom here is a proposed draft of reconfiguring it so that would be having a north half or a north lot and then a south lot. Now, where there is a discrepancy is where it says lot 1. You read underneath that, 2 rows underneath it says 3.01 acres. But that was measured from the center of the road. And you don't measure lot size from the center of the road, you measure it from the right of way, end of the right of way. So when you eliminate the road portion and the right of way, that 3.01 acres drops to about 2.67. The minimum lot size in that area is 3.0. So part of this is they're exploring all options, talking with the neighboring property owners about acquiring a third of an acre, adding it on to their lot, not putting the neighbor into non-conformity as well. And on page 3, there's a potential solution. And they're talking with the neighbor to the east about acquiring the northernmost portion of that lot, or about 0.77 acres. So if you add that to the 2.67, you exceed the 3.0. So, before the property owner goes too far down the road, their question is, if the above transaction occurred, would the TPC have any issues? As we would go through probably a certified survey map, just trying to prevent some issues down the road.
And before they have the expense of going through a CSM.
Exactly.
Well, who's the surveyor that measured from the center line anyways? I thought most surveyors would go from, you cut that part off.
Well,
Yes,
I give them an A for creativity.
yes. It was an option. It wasn't the correct option.
Yeah.
But the new lot number 2,
Very good question. Yes. So that requirement is 30,000 square feet. It ends up about 43,000 square feet.
even measured correctly.
Yes.
Okay.
On the lakeside, the
Lots are much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
postage
30,000 square feet. Yeah.
postage stamp size.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
So yeah, I don't see
Okay.
anything you haven't-
No, I think that's yours.
So, yeah,
That'd be your solution.
green light.
Okay, great. Thanks.
zoning ordinance rewrite. Next steps after 3 question and answer sessions.
We met and we looked at comments from the from public hearing and such, and have made some changes to sections 2 and 3. I think 1 weren't any changes at all. And what we'd like to do is at our next TBC meeting is bring those corrected sections to the TPC members to look at, to see if they're in agreement with that. And we'll continue to go on and look at the other sections and make corrections as we go along. And as we get those done in the work group, we'll bring it to the TPC so that they can get them in part, in section, and all of it at once.
Instead of meeting Tuesdays, we're meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays to speed stuff up.
Thanks to
Is it
Jim.
after work time though? After 4?
9 a.m.
Am I supposed to be here?
No,
No, it's
just a word.
Okay.
Oh, that would be a quorum. If 3 showed up, it would be a quorum.
Okay.
But as you get farther into the ordinance, it'll probably be, because there wasn't as many comments like sections 10 through 16, and that'll go a little faster. Yeah.
we're finding that as we make some changes to the zoning ordinance, we're gonna have to ask the town board to make some changes to the rental ordinance if the zoning ordinance as we present it gets adopted. So just to give you a heads up that, as you can imagine, when you change one thing, it affects something else and so on, so.
Yeah, so we're probably looking at some point over the winter, certainly not by the end of this year, we're going to be done reviewing this, so,
Not by the end of this year.
no. Unless we meet 4 times a month.
Thanks, Jim. Response letter to property owner regarding complaint received for wedding events at 951 Whitefish Lane.
Yeah, so I did put a new copy, no modifications were made in everyone's mailbox shortly before this meeting today. But what you see is a letter that we've drafted, that Katie and I have worked together on, and included. Max has reviewed it. Our attorney has reviewed it as well. And then the attachments to that letter also include the Steve Troffnagel inspection report with the 18 action items, as well as about 5 pages of photos that were from that report. So we've identified the issues in the letter, and we've identified the corrective actions that the property owner would need to take. At this point, with TPC blessing, we would send the letter certified to the property owner tomorrow. And then Katie and I and Steve Troffnagel are available to meet with the property owner and to go through the letter page by page, comment by comment, corrective action by corrective action.
Are you sending him all the other documentation
Yes.
besides the letter itself?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's very important. So there's really 2 different things that happened here. We had the state initiated inspection at another property owner's request. When we first sent that to the property owner, we included those 18 comments and those photos. I think it all needs to stay together because it's all part of the same issue. So it would be one complete package.
I'll make a motion to proceed with this letter being sent to the property owner. Correct the situation.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think it very well.
Yes, absolutely.
It
It was definitely a team effort.
was a good effort.
The lessons learned open house that is scheduled December 10th, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah, and real quick, everyone has a copy of the agenda. It was actually posted around town, I think on November 18th, emailed to 43 different contractors. Steve and Carisha are coming over on the 9 o'clock boat, I think, on that day. Steve is going to do a couple of site inspections. I'm going to go with him, and Carisha is going to go as well, so she can see more about what's happening on the island. So it's a very good learning experience for Ashland County as well. And all three of us are attending that meeting. We're going to kind of go through the outline that's on here. We're going to listen for feedback from the contractors. I'm most interested in that feedback. You know, where did the town of La Pointe let you down this year? And what can we do? Or let us explain to you why the process is the way it is, but what can we do to improve the experience in 2026?
That's wonderful.
You mentioned you were gonna send a reminder email out.
I am,
Going out this weekend?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, tomorrow.
Great.
Yep, because it's been a couple weeks since I did send the original, and I just want to send a reminder, and it'll be available on YouTube live streaming. People can participate from remote. We're looking forward to it.
And you're doing it well in advance of the holidays, so I
Yes,
think that's a good time.
yep. And we're always open to feedback on this. Anything that you like about the process or don't like, we want to hear it.
So this is open to the general public.
Anyone can attend. Yep.
Is it, and this is at the post office?
It is.
People see it there.
Yeah, it's been at the post office since November 18th. It's been out here. It's been over at the library. It's been on our website.
Okay.
The lessons learned's been on our website since probably the 19th.
Mhm.
So we're trying to get word of mouth to spread, the announcement that it's there. And please attend. So, and then we'll have a lessons learned on the lessons learned probably.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for stepping up, Rich.
I don't think anybody's been asked before.
Complaints received, status update, fence in the right of way.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of group these all together. As we met on November 5th, and I let everyone know that we technically have 6. One of them is the property owner letter that we just discussed, but we've got 5 additional complaints that we've received. And the topics are listed on the agenda: fence in the right of way, home business and zoning district R3, commercial storage and zoning district W1, building setbacks, variance, potential zoning and UDC violations. We did send out a letter to all of the property owners who we received complaints against. That went out November 12th. Since then, I have been able to at least have a conversation with all of them. I've been going through collecting data right through those conversations, going through our files, going through electronic files. Some of them are further along than others. Part of that is just timing with everything else that's going on. And we did, Max and I did do one new site visit of one of the locations a couple weeks ago as well. So we're making good progress on those. We don't have them complete yet. I'm pushing in December to get, at least 2 or 3 of them across the finish line. But it's going well so far.
Has any of the property owners you talked to admitted to violations?
I wouldn't say that there's been an outright admission. It's collecting data at this point and evaluating that with the complaint.
These are all issues that you can handle as a ZA without coming to us for any,
Well, I think it's too early to really
okay,
make a final judgment on that. Based on what we find, and as I get nearer the end, there may be some that we're able to very quickly wrap up. There may be others that I would like your input on.
Okay.
So I just don't know the split on
Sure.
that yet.
Any other questions on complaints?
I'm glad you're looking into them.
I'm assuming these are all written complaints.
Yes. Yes.
CUP process. Discuss online training potential, joint meeting with town board. Probably gonna wanna move this along to the next meeting agenda.
Mhm.
Check memo number 3, next steps, probably same thing. Holding tank, that's something for February or March. Do I need a permit update on creating an informational permit summary and question and answer for the public? That kind of ties into the lessons learned, I would think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And the chapter 205 building code, that definitely ties into the lessons learned.
Are you gonna bring up about the, what we had discussed about under building permits, where the UDC also includes agricultural buildings and detached structures like garages?
Yes.
'Cause I think that's important, because originally UDC was for, habitable structures, not say pole barns and garages. And then now if you're building a pole barn or a garage, you need a UDC inspection.
Yes.
And how do other communities handle that? Do they require it or not? Or is that,
I think it's kind of a.
is it like a municipality by municipality thing?
I think so,
It
yes.
definitely is.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like it's state mandated.
Not state
No.
mandated.
State says those are exempt.
Yeah, and that's what I always thought, but then obviously
But
in print,
Can
it,
always be more restrictive.
yeah,
That's what the town of White decided to do.
yeah.
I mean, I won't go into detail, but I took out a UDC permit for my pole barn, and the UDC inspector went into some very detailed dissertation about why it's important to include, statements of too many people building stuff out of popsicle sticks and duct tape. And,
Okay.
we'll see what happens in the lessons learned. I think it may be a good idea.
Yeah, like I'm printing out the TPC calendar for 2026. We're going to have this as a handout as well for participants to pick up. We'll make it available as well to those online. And by Steve being here, I've received some pushback on that topic. And I have shared this with a couple of contractors that I can think of. And Steve will be here to answer those questions as well. So it's a united front. I mean, I want all three of us here to listen and hear and talk about.
Yeah, personally.
Pros and cons for everything. I guess.
Yeah, personally, I just want to see how it plays out before I make any kind of a thought process on whether we need to be more restrictive on 205.
Fair enough.
Sixth Street vacate request process. I saw something here on that.
Yeah, everyone should have a copy of this. We had a property owner that has requested 6th Street be vacated. So in the package, you're going to find about 4 or 5 things. The very top page is the process. We coordinated with our attorney. We talked about this briefly November 5th, but we heard from our attorney who laid out the process. This summarizes it from a very high level into 6 steps. Tonight we're at step 1. TPC considers vacate request. Page 2 of that package is an exhibit that shows 6th Street. It's colored in green and then kind of a yellow. That's the area that's in question, and it's 40 by about 330 feet or so. If TPC votes tonight to carry it forward, it will go to the town board, and it goes to the town board not for them to vote on right away. It goes to them so that we can start that process. That starts with a resolution. So there's an example on page 3 and 4 of the package. Actually, it's longer than that. It's got all of the legal description,
What they did down in Price County,
Yes,
Phillips for Park Falls and.
yep. And then further on in is the notice of public hearing. It's an example. Again, just it's an example that cut and paste.
No, thank you for the research. So getting back to that yellow square, is that something that the person wants vacated in addition to Sixth Street, or why is that a different colors here?
Yeah, I think
Reason for
that I think that's that would be maybe optional. And we're gonna get
Yeah,
more
is that part of
details on
Sixth Street or is that part of the Front Street?
Right. To me, it looks like it's part of Front
Front
Street.
Street, yeah.
Which is already vacated though.
Well, the Front Street to
To the east
the east would be
Oh.
great.
or north or really north.
Because Front Street is really Nebraska Road.
Yes. Yeah, this survey was from April 17th of 1992. So they would have to update that. And I spoke at length with the property owner yesterday and kind of went through this process, and it is something that they are still interested in pursuing. And I told her that it was on the agenda for tonight to talk about, to take to the next step. And, we briefly talked about, cost. And I don't want to move forward with a process where people don't understand the financial aspects of something. I did indicate that, I would find out what the legal fees would be for the town that would then be passed along to the property owner. She was understanding of that, understood the process. I reached out to the attorney today and we've exchanged a couple of emails. I don't have final information, but I'll be talking with the property owner at the end of next week to share more about what I've learned as far as cost goes and timing. One of the things I didn't get a chance to do today, but it is on my list to do, is prepare kind of a schedule. An overall schedule of, well, we've got our meeting tonight. Then how long will it take to get the resolution ready to go to the town board? You'll see in steps 5 and 6 where there's 30 days, you have to publish notification in the newspaper. And we went through this for the public hearing with the zoning rewrite, where we had to publish it. We had to get it to the newspaper on the Friday to be before the Thursday when it was published, which had to be in a 15 to 20 day window. Well, the same thing here. And so I just need to sit down at Excel for like 30 minutes and kind of map out a time frame.
Yeah, we don't go through a lot of vacating streets around here. It seemed to be more popular back in the 80s, maybe the early 90s. Things are being vacated all over the place, and I think that's why the town at the time said, we got to pump the brakes on how much we're vacating that access the lake. Because I know there was an alley that was vacated between the Rendezvous Center and the pub. That went through. I think one by the beach club at one time went through, and they kept vacating all over the place. Granted, this isn't going to the lake, because
Correct.
what went to the lake at one time was already vacated. So
Right.
I have no problem proceeding with this. I'm happy that there's a process where neighboring property owners who are maybe affected by this being vacated, can at least participate in the discussion. So, but I think, I have no problem proceeding to the next.
Yeah, the city of Park Falls, Liz Pendens, doesn't address any valuable consideration, so it doesn't look like the city of Park Falls was compensated for the vacation. So that maybe be a question for the attorney.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of a work in progress. I think I got this from the attorney on Monday. So it's been just quickly pulling everything together to make that first step, and then develop a timeline, which I'll share with TPC on here's what the plan is, and get the property owner on board with that timeline as well. So there's no surprises, timeline or cost.
So do we need a motion and a vote to send this?
As far as TP considers the vacate request, I think to be on the safe side, I think we should.
Yeah.
Just to have it.
Make a motion to recommend to the town board to move forward on vacating Sixth Street request.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, motion carries. Setbacks for lakefront lots.
Yeah, and this one, and this is also just kind of a placeholder here for now. What I've been doing, and this is where you've got a lot that's on the lake, and is it the setbacks, which applies? Is it the front or the back that we've talked about previously? I'm collecting data. I've started looking at other counties. Iron County, I printed out theirs. I've got Kenosha counties back in my office just because I live there and they have lakes there. Trying to get a kind of a representative example across the state, just to see what other communities are doing to bring it back to here January 7th or so.
New business. Much of what we just talked about here.
Anything else that anyone would like to add?
I don't have anything.
I think we have quite a bit already.
Future agenda.
More, Charlie?
There's always more.
We'll leave room for,
Yeah,
just let Rich know before the meeting so we can get it on the agenda.
right. Extended public comment. Less than 5 minutes. Looks like nothing. Next scheduled meeting, January 7th, 2026 at 4:30 PM. Is that going to be okay with everyone?
Fine with me. Everyone gonna be here?
We'll tell.
Time will tell. Llewellyn, you going anywhere?
Yeah, I'm going to see Heidi,
Okay,
but I'll zoom in.
zoom in.
Perfect. Right.
I'll have
Thank
her
you.
get me
Thank
up.
you, everybody. We're adjourned.
Thanks. Thank you,
Thanks,
Chair.
Mark.
Thank you. Yes. Bye.
Happy holidays, everybody.
You too, Heidi. Thank you.